here, and I hope everyone is enjoying this beautiful fall weekend. It has been quite a while since I have shared a Facebook Live, but I've been really inspired to bring some ideas to you today. And what I would really love to talk about is the reason behind what you're used to hearing me talk about. Most of you who are watching are used to me talking about resumes, LinkedIn profiles, all that good writing stuff. And that's because what I really love is tapping into the power of words to connect people with their voice. And it's voice that I want to talk about today, particularly the power of women using their voices. And I say that not to discount the stories of men and the importance of their voices. I'm focusing today on women's voices because, first of all, it's what my experience is, and I can speak to it with authenticity. I also think it's really an appropriate time. It's very timely, first of all, in the calendar. We just went through September, which was Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. We are now in Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October. Right here in my hometown of Philadelphia, where I am right now, we just finished hosting the Pennsylvania Conference for Women. Women are in the news. I just saw that NASA is planning its first ever all-female spacewalk. And you might have heard about this young woman named Greta, who's going around telling off world leaders left and right, which is awesome. So it seems very timely right now in the calendar year. Beyond that, I think it's just sort of an idea whose time has come. When you look back historically, at least for the past couple of millennia, it's kind of fair to say that on the whole, women's voices have not always been given the same level of significance that men's voices have. And it is so exciting to be part of the groundswell that's changing that, and to be alive in this time when so many things are happening that can turn that around. So what I wanted to talk with you about today is what it means to me to be a woman who's using her voice. And for me, that all started when I was a teacher. I was a high school teacher for 17 years and working teaching Latin and theology in the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. So much that I loved about that job, and very, very grateful for that experience. There were definitely some elements of it that were a little bit more challenging as well. And in thinking back, one of the things that it meant for me in being a woman using my voice was that I felt like, this may or may not have been the reality, but I'm sharing my experience, I felt like I had to work twice as hard to be taken half as seriously. And I'll give you an example of that. So I was a department chairperson. I was very well accomplished. I had won grants. I did a lot for the school. And one morning we were at a faculty meeting, and we were discussing something that was controversial. I don't even remember what the topic was, but it was something that people were very heated about, and there were different opinions. And I had one opinion, and a male colleague had another opinion, and he was expressing his very emphatically and dramatically with a lot of emotion, and I was doing the same thing. When I got done speaking, another faculty member, a man who was just not even in the conversation but was watching because it was so animated, made that cat noise. I don't know if you guys know what I mean, but it's like that. I can't even do it. It's really stupid. But apparently it's a noise that sometimes people make when women look like they might be arguing or something like that. And he made that noise at the end of what I was saying. And the whole room erupted into laughter. And I laughed too, because I didn't want to seem like a bad sport, or like I was taking myself too seriously. I couldn't take a joke. I was making a big deal out of nothing. I didn't want to draw more negative attention to myself. So I kind of laughed it off. But internally, it was a really upsetting experience for me. It was very belittling. I felt like I was completely negated. Like my degree, my capable handling of the department my running of organizations within the school, the validity of my arguments, my contributions to the school community, all of them had been completely sidelined by this little noise. And it was like suddenly I was like this little kid who was found out being at the adults table and didn't belong there, mixed in with the weird sexual overtone of the cat noise, which was like profoundly disturbing. So I laughed at the time, and then later that day in the faculty cafeteria, I saw the colleague who had made that noise, and I went up to him and I told him that it had been very upsetting to me, and I said that I found it very demeaning. And his response was to chastise me for bringing that to his attention in front of other people. So now, hey, he was an English teacher. Maybe he was just practicing irony. You never know. But way back in the beginning of my career, it was a hard lesson. It was a hard experience, and it fed into my belief at the time that I had to prove myself as a woman who was using her voice in a professional setting. That was one of the harder aspects of being a woman using her voice, but there were great aspects too. And the one that I loved the best was looking at my female students and thinking, by the time you're in this job, it's going to be easier. I'm going through this crap now so that when you're in my role, maybe someone won't make a cat noise at you when you say something in a faculty meeting. And I was keenly aware of the fact that my position was the result of generations of women who came before me and went through far more than even I did. I know I worked with women who had been told that as female lay teachers, their salary wasn't important because, after all, their husbands were the breadwinners and this was just pocket money for them. True story. Now, no one ever said that to me. So, hey, look, we're making progress. But one of the things that I love about being a woman who uses her voice is being part of this continuum of supporting each other. A good friend of mine posted a meme recently, and it was this animation. It was a drawing of a woman standing on one side of the screen, and then the drawing of another woman appears on the other side. So the first woman bends down and knits her fingers together, and the other woman puts her foot in, and she gets boosted up to the next level. And she's standing there alone until another woman appears. And then she bends down and knits her fingers together and gives a boost to that woman. And it goes on and on. And the end result is that every woman has been boosted by somebody else, and every woman boosts another. And that, to me, years later, I'm 46, I own my own business, I don't really care as much about the perceived significance of my worth, because I do know my own worth in a much more strong way than I did as that young teacher who was just starting out. But one of the things that I love most is being part of that link, that chain of solidarity, of sisterhood, of lending support and being grateful for the blessing of the support that's come before me. So the thoughts that I would love to leave you with today are, if you're a woman, what does it mean to you to use your voice in the workplace, at home, in family situations? If you're a man, what does it mean for you when the women in your workplace use their voice, in your family dynamic? What do you want for your daughters? What do you want their experience to be? Over the next couple of weeks, I am going to be posing this question to a series of women, and maybe even a few brave men will join me. And I'm going to be asking them about what it means to them to be a woman using her voice, or to be a man who is supporting women using their voices. And I hope that you'll join me so that we can continue this conversation. Have a great day.